Hi, and welcome to another edition of Google Lies or Truth. We are the SEO show that tests and outs the Google lies to warn you, to let you know what is actually true. We test with science to see if what Google says or what people say about Google is actually true or not. We are put out by Underground SEO University, and Underground SEO University is the place you can go to get all this scientific information that we're talking about today. So let's actually give you some free advice and some free help on SEO and check out some of the Google lies. So here is an article that was put out by my friend Barry Schwartz, and we often take a look at a lot of what Barry Schwartz has to say. And he says, here is the claim that we'll be testing today, one of them anyway. We'll test a few claims. He says, Google says, you can't tell which SEO efforts led to ranking success, which he elaborates on here. He says he's been writing about SEO for 18 years and watching it for longer. And he says you can put 10 SEOs on a single project, and each SEO can claim that their tactic was why the site had SEO success. Here's the actual tweet from John Mueller. He says, partially, it's also just prioritizing SEO efforts is super hard. It takes a lot of experience and requires that you take leaps of faith sometimes. So he's saying that you need to take leaps of faith. And it's easy to find 100 things to do for SEO. But which one is the right one to focus on right now? You can't even tell afterwards. So to be fair to John Mueller, he wasn't quite saying that you can't tell which SEO efforts led to success. He was saying it might be impossible to prioritize them by telling which SEO effort is the most beneficial. It was Barry Schwartz who claimed that you can't tell what SEO effort leads to any success. Also, John Mueller mentions, however, that it takes a leap of faith, quote unquote, that you can't tell scientifically what's going on in SEO. And so these are the kind of claims that are being said here. And so I can tell you definitively, with the testing that we do in Underground SEO University, that we could prove that all these claims are false. You don't have to take it on faith as to what's going on. You can scientifically test what's going on. We've proven that. So join SEO University and you will see the results. If you want to join now, just send me an email with yes in the subject description and ask to join the Underground SEO University. And we have a discount, and I can give you a discounted price for this month and every month afterwards. So email me, joshbashinsky@gmail.com. Just put yes in the subject, and I'll send that off to you. Also, though, so it doesn't take leaps of faith. You can scientifically discriminate which SEO tactics are boosting you and how much they are boosting you by. So not only can you tell which SEO tactics boost you if you use science to determine this, as we do in the Underground SEO University, but you could tell how much they boost you. You could tell that this signal, like links, for example, is a very tiny, tiny signal and not the best signal to be using anymore. You can prove this with science. We have. And there's other algorithms and other signals which are way bigger boosting signals that we've mastered, and we have courses to teach you in SEO Underground University. So join Underground University. You could see those. And then the final claim is that it takes a leap of faith. It doesn't. That's false. Also, Barry mentions about doing 5 or 6 SEO tactics at the same time. Well, that kind of right there tells you that, well, it'll be impossible to tell which SEO tactic boosted you if you're doing 6 at the same time. Not that you shouldn't do 6 or 5 or 6 SEO tactics at the same time, depending on what they are. You should, because unless you're an in-house SEO and you have forever to rank, you need to move really fast to beat your competitors. You need to do X SEO tactics in Y time, right? It's not just, you don't have forever to rank. You need to rank before everybody else. You need to rank higher than everybody else, but you also need to rank before everybody else. So again, we can teach you how to do that in the Underground SEO University. Just email me, joshbashinsky@gmail.com, and ask for the discount. That's a really important point, though. When you're testing scientifically, you only test one thing at once. And that's why all these other groups go wrong when they think they're doing testing, is that they're not testing in a clean, isolated environment. They haven't reduced all the variables to the bare minimum amount of variables so you can have clean scientific testing. And once you do this tactic, it's like an art and a science to do this, but once you learn how to do this, which we've done in SEO University, and we can show you all the results, you can just go and rank from there with our easy over-the-shoulder videos, or just our very simple descriptions of this is what we tested, this is what happened, do this, do that, do this. The very simple do this, do that. Do you want a very simple do this, do that? Then join SEO University, because that's what we've got for you. So what is the final verdict on the claim that one cannot tell which SEO efforts led to ranking success? That's a lie. That's false. That's completely false. If you know what you're doing and you know how to do science, you can completely tell which SEO tactics led to which results and how quickly it led to the results and how powerful those results are. So if you want to learn more about that, by all means, join SEO University. Now let's get to the second part of the show that I have set up here for you. Google Lies or Truth, Google tips hiding in plain sight. So one of the tips we're looking at today that are hiding in plain sight, well, it's called the site overview from Search Console. You've all seen it. They also email it to you. If you have a Search Console setting, they also email it to you. And it's called Site Overview. You can get it from Search Console. There's a link at the very top you can click to get your site overview. Or, as I said, they email it to you. And it looks like this. You can see the site overview past 28 days. And the important thing here is to look down at the learn about the data and find tips. This is the important part to look at here. Learn about the data and find the tips, the little hat on the bottom right-hand side. If you would think that the important information was below, where they show your most searched queries and they tell you your average position and whether you're in the top 5 or not. They give you a little trophy. Congratulations. Thanks, Google, very much for the trophy. But what you want to actually look at is that little hat on the right-hand side. And when you click that hat, you're going to get two things. You're going to get about the data and tips. You want to click the tips tab on the right-hand side. When you do click the tips tab on the right-hand side, you're given two very interesting pieces of information. And I'll read them out for you. The first one is identify specific questions and topics that your audience cares about. Typo there, they should say cares, not care. That your audience cares about, and use these answers that you get from your audience as specific inspiration to improve existing content or create new content. Okay, so that's all about content creation. That's all about asking your users, what do they want to hear more about? That could be a very good way of finding out how to make new pages. Another better way of finding out how to make new pages is use Google Trends. Go to Google Trends, search Google Trends. And if you haven't seen Google Trends, try it out. And it's a new search engine from Google. I mean, it'll be new to you. It's not new at all. It's been around for 15 years if you've never seen it. But you can use this as a search engine to find out what content you should be making. And it gives you the basic trends about new information that's coming up and new searches in your area that are coming up as well. So I'll make a video on Google Trends in the future if you've never seen it, but just a quick tip, that's a great place to find where to make new content and what content might be becoming very popular. Now, also the next thing on this tips tab, this is the most important part. Watch this. This is one of the rare instances where Google makes a claim. Now, on the show, this is the name of the show, Google Truth or Lies. Is Google telling the truth here? Well, let me read it out for you. They say, for queries where you think you might improve your position. So that's interesting how they worded that. They didn't say, if you want to improve your position. They said, for queries where you think you might improve your position. So that kind of means for websites and pages that are already doing very well and they think that you think that maybe you could do better, that you've got something good enough and you could just tweak it a little bit and be better. For these queries, they say two things which are very important. So pay attention to these two things. We're going to talk about whether this is a truth or a lie from Google. One, improve your existing content with more information. And two, create a better user experience. So there's two Google claims right there that can improve rankings. One, if you improve your existing content with more information, whatever that means. Or two, if you create what they call a better user experience. So the question is, well, what does that mean? Well, when they say improve your content, how exactly do you improve it? They said add more information. So that seems to indicate the common Google myth that a lot of the amateur SEOs out there, including ones with large blogs, think will help you rank better is just by adding content. They think that long form content ranks better. They think that if you just add content, it's going to rank better. and or you can improve it somehow by asking your users what they want to see, what they want to hear. And that kind of ties into the second part of vaguism. They say that you can create a better user experience. Okay, well, what is a better user experience? Well, user experience, literally, it's the abbreviation is UX. It ties to the design of the web page. So how could you create a better user experience through design, through the elements that you provide and things like that? I'm here to tell you that we have one falsity and one truth. Are you ready? And the verdict is create more content. True and false. True and false. It depends how you do it. This suggestion from Google, as they all are, is far too vague. How exactly do you have to improve it? Do keywords matter? Do keyword placement matter? Does it matter what your competitors are saying? Does it matter what you're saying? The answer is yes, keywords matter a lot. So you can't just add any content. You need to add content that will actually improve the content as far as who? The user? No, Google thinks. Google's AI, MUM, the multitask unified model built of many Smith transformer algorithms, to my knowledge, which are natural language processor, NLP algorithms, artificial intelligences, transformers with over 1 trillion word connections based into them in every major language, are going to analyze this content, and the AI is going to try to understand it and understand what it's about. And the AI is looking for specific keywords. So if you want to rank better, the claim that you can just improve it by adding more content is mostly false. And we have to give that a false. You can improve the content, but you have to improve it in a very specific way by adding specific keywords, and you have to know how to scientifically test for these keywords, and you have to know how a transformer works and how an AI works. It's not the Google NLP demo. That's old technology. Don't look at that. That's not going to help you at all in any way, shape, or form. Do you really think they're going to give you for free a demo how to do SEO? They're not. So join the Underground SEO University and you can find out the science of actually what keywords truly boost, and boy, do they boost your page. If you get the right keywords in there, you're definitely going to boost your page up. So join SEO University. Email me at joshpaczynski@gmail.com with yes in the subject, and I will send you the discount. So you can join and find out how to find these keywords so you can rank super highly. So it's false that you can just improve it with any content, or just adding content is going to help you. So what about the second claim? The second claim was you have to create a better user experience. Is that true or false? And the answer is bing, true. You do have to provide a better user experience. However, again, it's too vague what it actually means to be a better user experience. You might think that that just means CRO, conversion rate optimization. And for those of you who are on a sales page, you know all about CRO and you know all about trying to increase your sales, which you should do for that reason. And there's other reasons you should do it too. But that's just a tiny, tiny little part of the algorithm and a tiny, tiny little part of what they're talking about there. And if you thought that conversions didn't apply to you because you're on a blog or an information page, think again. The science proves that it does. So there's 3 or 4 different algorithms at play here with different artificial intelligence at play for both of these suggestions, including create a better user experience. You need to think how an AI thinks. And in the Underground SEO University, we've scientifically proven what the AIs are looking for here, and there are huge, tremendous boost possibilities here. If you join SEO University, you can find out what they are. So the final verdict is, it's partly true, ding, I guess, that you need to create a better user experience. But what actually is a better user experience? How do you measure better? And what exact things do you need to change? This is too vague to help people out. So I give Google a 2 thumbs down on those suggestions. They're real, they're free, they're from Google, but they're far too vague is the problem, as most Google suggestions are, to actually help you do any real SEO. Join the Underground SEO University and we'll tell you exactly what you need to do. We'll show you the exact truth based on these 2 suggestions that are hiding very powerful ranking factors that can make you number 1 or keep you to be number 1 if you currently are number 1. So thanks very much for watching Google Lies or Truth. I have been your host, Josh Paczynski. If you'd like to explore the Underground SEO University, by all means, don't look for us on Google. You're not going to find us. We are an underground, secret, private mastermind group that I call SEO University, run by myself and a few other scientific testers. We have a peer review group for doing scientific testing. And we know the best ranking factors that nobody else anywhere on the internet knows. So, want me to prove it? No problem. Email me at joshpaczynski@gmail.com and mention that you're interested in underground SEO, and I will send you the information that you need. Thanks for watching, and look forward to new episodes of Google Lies or Truth.